what if we devoted every second of spring to making money? And what if we used the most advanced min-max strategies? And what if, on top of that, we used every known RNG prediction mechanic? How much money do you think that we could make in spring year 1? 100,000 gold? Nah, too easy. 500,000 gold? That's still too easy. 1 million gold. That's enough to make Morris blush, but I think we can do better. What about 5 million? Now, after all, I set the record at 9.3 million gold over 3 years ago. Now, I think we can make 25 million gold in our wallet. Let's find out.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to my 25 million gold in the first spring run. This is a challenge run to get 25 million gold in hand by the end of spring. So basically, when we wake up on summer 1st, year 1, we want to have at least 25 million gold in our wallet. We're going to be doing this on an old patch, 1.4.0. That was before the Skull Caverns was nerfed, so we get way more Iridium. And we'll be able to abuse that to get like 15,000 Iridium per day, starting on like spring 8th. And we'll use that to get all the way to 25 million gold by selling Iridium bars. The rule set for this run is pretty much the same as seeded glitchless in speedrunning. Basically what that means is that I'll be using no cheats, no mods, and no glitches, so I can't like go out of bounds, I can't like do any wrong warps, I can't do any progression skips, like accessing something earlier than I'm supposed to. And then the seeded rule set means that I'm allowed to use any predictor I want. So I have a variety of predictors and RNG manipulation type things that I'll be doing as well. That's all allowed. Yeah, I'll be doing animation canceling as well. The reason that I'm in an exit to title screen right here is because the first thing we have to do is actually get the seed I was talking about, which is... Let me pull it up. The seed is 612287808. You might be thinking, no worries, Cordite, just go to the new game menu, click on that little wrench down at the bottom left, open that up, put in your seed, you're good to go. Well, and I'll tell you that that feature was added in 1.5, and we are playing in 1.4, so we have no way of setting our seed normally. But thankfully, the Wizard Blade came up with a spreadsheet a long time ago that calculates what system clock time you need to have in order to get the seed you want. So in Stardew Valley, your seed is set by your system clock when you exit the title. So I'm going to be setting my clock to November 16th, 2031 at 10:56 a.m., which is right now. That was actually kind of lucky that it was like right on it. So now when we make a new file, the file that we make now will have the seed that I want. So I'm going to put my clock back to normal time so that my computer doesn't freak out.
Since the mines don't open until spring 5th, the most lucrative way to make money on days 1 through 4 is a technique called clay farming. Using a sequential pattern of tilling, we can get hundreds of clay per day, which doesn't sound that impressive until you realize that clay sells for 20 gold each, meaning we can get upwards of 10,000 gold per day. Clay farming can get pretty boring to watch though, so let's speed it up. I haven't done clay farming in a long time though, so I'm using Blade's map predictor to help me stay on the clay pattern. So I briefly talked about why clay farming is important, but this run's main early goal is to get to the desert as soon as possible. We will make most of our money in the Skull Caverns from Iridium bars, and in order to do that, we'll need the earliest desert access we can possibly get. The community center can first be unlocked on day 5 by viewing the cutscene with Lewis. We'll then need to read our mail on day 6 and visit the wizard who teaches us forest magic, which lets us donate items to the community center. We can then complete the vault on that same day, which gives us desert access starting on Spring 7th, which is Sunday. Finishing the vault on day 6 requires 42,500 gold. Sounds easy, right? Well, maybe. We'll talk about that in a future episode. The problem for right now is that we need to unlock 4 prior bundles before the vault becomes available to purchase. We'll do all of the boiler room bundles because they're easy while we descend the mines, and that provides us invaluable minecart access for efficient traveling. But the minecarts also requires 2 complete prior bundles. What do we do for the first 2 bundles? Well, the easiest one is spring foraging. We'll get those basically for free while we walk around the world. For the second bundle, there are 3 realistic options to complete on day 6, since we don't plan to do any fishing this run. The first option we have is the construction bundle. This would require chopping a lot of extra wood we wouldn't gather otherwise, and either an early copper axe upgrade, or we would need to get 10 hardwood from crates in the mines on days 5 and 6. Our second option would be the crab pot bundle, in which we would need to get clam, oyster, mussel, and cockle all through beach foraging no later than spring 6th. Finally, the 5th item would come from rock crabs, which drop the crab item at a 15% rate. The third option, and the one that we'll be using for this run, is actually the spring crops bundle, which requires a parsnip, a green bean, a potato, and a cauliflower. How would we get those by spring 6th, considering that most of those crops take longer than 6 days to grow? The answer is a crop fairy. The seed we have selected for this run has 2 main features that would affect our plan on day 1. First, Gus will sell us 2 spicy eels at the saloon, which we'll save for the mines, and a crop fairy will also appear on the night of spring 1st. If we can get her to wave her magic wand on our spring crops that we plant, they will instantly be fully grown and ready to donate. I just have to comment on the strategy on screen because I love it so much. We call it lawnmower strats, and it involves using a purchased shipping bin from Robin's carpenter shop to clear the farm of grass and tilled dirt. While we're doing it, it kind of looks like we're mowing the lawn. And it's also very effective because we are clearing lots of annoying things off of the farm in a pause menu that also doesn't cost energy. Unfortunately, at 1 a.m. after a full day of clay farming, I lose track of the clay pattern and can't get any more clay for the day. I make the decision that we'll just pass out early and end the day because, after all, I've already collected 536 clay for the day, which is more than enough. At this point, all that's left to do is to pass out, have the fairy grow our crops up for us, and progress on to day 2. Unfortunately, it seems that fairies are much more complicated than I thought. Something prevented my fairy from appearing. This is beyond my scope of knowledge, so let's enlist the help of my friends Blade and Piano Addict to help figure this out. Pre 1.6, trees of any stage, hoe dirt, and grass are all terrain features that impact where the fairy will land. The fairy looks at 100 terrain features on the farm, and the first time it finds hoe dirt with an ungrown crop seed on it, it will select that tile to be the center of the 5x5 grid that the fairy will grow up. I'll admit, I still don't understand all the specifics, but armed with good knowledge from these two geniuses, we have what we need to know to attempt day 1 again. We will remove as much hoe dirt, grass, and trees as we can. There are 127 trees on the standard farm, which present a big obstacle to a successful fairy. I'll remove any saplings quickly with the scythe, but removing fully grown trees won't be an effective use of my time. Luckily for us, rocks, weeds, and twigs don't count as terrain features. I'll also use an expanded crop layout, which will greatly increase the number of hoe dirt spots on the farm that will result in the fairy successfully growing the crops I need for the bundle. Since we've already watched most of a clay farming day on this video, we'll speed through this relatively quickly. As always, with this video and futures, if you want to watch the full unedited videos of this run, those are available on my Twitch channel. At this point during the attempt, I make a minor mistake. I'm completely out of energy. I have no food available. The forageables I'm carrying are for the community center, and I'm unable to hoe out the last 6 spaces for the parsnip seeds that I have. So, in a moment of panic, I decide to sell the seeds and hope that 19 spots is enough for the ferry. At 12:50 a.m., I run out of energy and decide that eating another salad would not be efficient since I wouldn't be able to use up all the energy before the 2 a.m. pass out. I decide to run back to the bus stop and collect the leek that I wasn't able to get earlier, and then pass out in my house to not lose money. Along the way, I'll also ship the clay I've collected this evening so that I have the money available in the morning. All that's left to do now is hope that we did enough for a fairy to show up and grow up our spring crops. The fairy decides to bless us, which means we're getting to move on to day 2. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for episode 2, and please like and subscribe.